So I'm at work checking some things. I'm not going to be long, but I have mentioned before that I was going to be consistent with videos every Tuesday. Let's put this. Yep, I was going to be consistent with videos every Tuesday. And if I wasn't able to produce a video for you guys on a Tuesday and have it uploaded by at least 12 this time, I would do a live video. And this week I am doing summer camps. So within my summer camps, what I'm teaching this time is fashion design. So I'm at College of Creative Studies right now teaching and getting ready to teach you guys just some small things that I think you already know. But if you hear it from me and what I've learned are the differences between the two, as the title has said, we can create some kind of a dialogue. You can ask me questions. So we're going to try to do this probably a good 15 minutes. If we got good questions, we can go as long as 30, but I would need to head back to my class so I could teach my students here. So the title talks about, is there a difference between OMAD diet, which means one meal a day, and the warrior diet? Previous video that I did got a lot of views on understanding the different types of intermittent fasting diet. So if you don't know what intermittent fasting is, hey, how are you? If you don't know what intermittent fasting is, check that video out. But in a nutshell, it has nothing to do with what you're eating. It has everything to do with what window of feeding time you choose to eat. That's the only difference between it. It's not really a diet style, it's a timing of your diet style. So keep that in mind. A lot of you made comments about that. You learned some new things. Not only that, some of you have what I consider corrected me on one of the intermittent fasting styles, which is the warrior diet. And is there a difference between that and someone mentioned it being one meal a day? There is a difference, and they are correct with the comment that they made. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So don't just keep in mind, I don't know everything. I do my research. But when someone gives me information, I research it and I correct it. So, makes sense, right? But I'm going to talk about why they're different and then why they're not actually all that different. The difference between the two: one meal a day means you're eating one meal a day and your feeding window is only 2 hours. So it's a 22-2 diet style, meaning 22 hours of fasting, 2 hour feeding window. So you're only going to eat within a 2 hour period. The warrior diet, as I've explained before, is what I do is I eat one meal, but the warrior diet is actually a 24, meaning you're fasting for 20 hours and 4 hour feeding window. So that's actually what makes it different, is there's a 2 hour difference. That's the only difference. And not just saying that's the only difference, but you can eat twice or two meals within a 4 hour period. That's hard to do within a 2 hour period. So one meal a day means 22, 2, and the warrior diet, meaning you can eat 1 to 2 meals within a 4 hour period, making that a 24. So that is the difference between the two. So shout out to those who corrected me on that, or gave a little bit more information on that. I think that was awesome of you to do that, and I took the opportunity to share that with everyone else who may not have seen the comments. Not everybody sees the comments, they just listen to my videos and then they comment themselves on things like that. So that's good. So shout out to those of you who mentioned the difference in how I was describing it, and now let's clearing it up. Now, to be honest, the thing that makes it very similar, in my opinion, again, I'm telling you from my personal opinion, is that there's only a 2 hour difference. And in most cases, a person will probably only eat one meal within a 2 to 4 hour period. And that's kind of more so a realistic thing. I think with the warrior diet is more often that you may find males, and this is per just opinion, would do that type of diet where they would eat two meals a day. So they would consider that to be a warrior diet. The 1 meal a day fasting diet, intermittent fasting diet is different. So let's open it up to questions. If you can eat, someone asked, if you can eat 1,200 calories in a day, you have to eat that in 1 meal. More than likely, yes, if that's your calorie deficit. Your calorie deficit should not be no more than 1,200 calories. And if you're planning to do a warrior or 1 meal a day type intermittent fasting, you want to get your 1 or 2 meals within that period of time at that caloric intake, if that's your deficit. If that's your deficit. Again, weight loss has everything to do with calories in, calories out. All of these different diet styles that are out there is just kind of giving you different ways to bring yourself to a caloric deficit. That's the only difference. They all work. They have their different reasons why they are be popular one day and not so popular another. But they're all supposed to bring you to a caloric deficit. That's the only big thing. And the next video that I'm going to have next Tuesday is going to be very descriptive on the ketogenic diet and why it's different from a low carb diet and a balanced diet. And my focus is clean eating. So if you've been watching me for a while, you're probably noticing that I'm going into more of just eat clean. That's it. Okay, so that's not bad. If you know that works for you. So someone says they're 1,500 calories, but try not to go over 13 calories. That's totally up to you. Hello, beauty love. That's totally up to you. You need to take control and find out what your caloric deficit needs to be. I've done a video on that talking about, and from my example of how I calculate my calories needed when I'm at rest, when I'm at maintenance per se, and then what I need to build muscle and what I need to lose fat. Or we look at it as losing weight, but the actual thing is dropping body fat percentage. So that's what we're trying. That's the goal, is body fat percentage, which overall that means weight too. So, but all of the diet styles matter. So the next video that I'll be doing Tuesday is going to be in depth on the ketogenic, the low carb diet, and what a balanced diet is, and the importance of carbohydrates. And you can make a decision for yourself personally of what direction you want to go with that information. But you got to take control of what works for you. So there's tons of information out there. I do all of the research and then I try to dumb it down, to be honest, or simplify it, because that's just my nature. I like things to be simplified. I love the science behind everything, but sometimes it can just get overwhelming and so confusing. So it's better to just try to find a way to describe it as this is what it is. Choose what you want. If it doesn't work, find another option. You've been doing the keto diet, but you have a stall in your weight. Keto, and I'm going to do a video on this, but I'm going to say this really point blank. Keto, if it's not done correctly, you could actually be eating more than your calorie deficit, because fats, that diet compared to low carb, they're not the same. There is a difference. There's more fat involved in a ketogenic diet than there is in a low carb diet. In a ketogenic diet, you are eating higher amounts of fat and pretty much no carbohydrates unless it's fibrous carbs. And I have to be really scientifically clear with that in the next video. But if you're getting a stall in it, it's probably because you're eating more calories than you are actually, you're taking in more calories than you're actually working out or expending or using. So if you're at a stall with that, more than likely it has something to do with the calorie intake. I'm just waiting for questions. We're at 10 minutes. I've already mentioned exactly what the difference is of 1 meal a day and the warrior diet, why they're different. They're different in times, and they're different in the possibility of how many meals you do. 1 meal a day is exactly what it is. You only going to have 1 meal within a 2-hour period. The warrior diet is a 4-hour feeding window, and there's a possibility that you could have 2. meals within that period of time. And what makes them similar, in my opinion, is most people will eat not every 2 hours, but they may eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. So in a 4 hour window period, if you're eating all your calories, you might not have a second meal. So you are kind of eating one meal a day. So to me, I kind of look at those as somewhat similar, but they do have their differences. So that, just wanted to make sure that that was cleared up. And yeah. Hello, Tangela. I see you. So yes, that's the difference. I'm still opening it up to questions. I know people have constantly been asking me about the ketogenic diet, and I've already expressed it that asking me about it, I've already cleared up they all work. Intermittent fasting, carb cycling, all of the diet styles work. It's just the hard part is finding out which one works for you. But you don't know which one works for you if you don't really understand how each diet is different and how it's going to work specifically for you. I've already mentioned that ketogenic diets was specifically made for people who deal with epilepsy. It's recently been adopted for people who are pre-diabetic or have diabetes, to help with insulin resistance or balancing your insulin levels out, or your sugar levels out. And usually it's because you're just eating processed foods. So I'm a clean eater. That's the most important thing. Every now and then I have my junk food every once in a while, but majority of the time, at least 85 to 90% of the time, I am eating clean foods. So someone asked if their weight is fluctuating. Are you wondering if your body is trying to adapt? Honestly, I'm going to say weight doesn't necessarily tell you anything. Weight fluctuates because we're women, we're human beings, we carry water weight. It fluctuates from time to time based on what you eat. It may have been you had a really high carb diet the day before and the results are showing the next day, not necessarily in the numbers of fat, but just water weight. Weight can also be accumulated from being bloated. That's another thing. So it doesn't necessarily mean your body is trying to adapt. It just really, honestly, weight just doesn't tell you much of anything. Pictures do. They tell you much better. And then you also have to recognize what you look like when you wake up. You will not look like that before you go to bed. You are going to be bloated. It's human. We're human bodies. So you're going to have to be okay with knowing that that's how our bodies operate. So you might be bloated by the time you get ready to go to sleep. You should, if you're eating like you should be and you're working out. So that's going to happen. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your body is trying to adapt. It just means it fluctuates. That's it. I like that one. Yes, stay off the scale. I honestly think if you have a coach, let your coach help you figure out how to use the scale to your advantage. But other than that, stay off of it because it's, like I've said before, it's a mind for real. It messes with you. I get it now. Before I used to bother with my head, but I fluctuate. So don't think I don't fluctuate. I do still weigh myself every once in a while, and I fluctuate, and I'm okay with that. Let's go through this one. Someone talks about smoking cigarettes and you're always hungry. It's a struggle, but you're doing well. I'm glad. You should be doing well, but it is a struggle because it's a fixation. Not that I've ever been a smoker before, but my parents were, and they've pretty much described it. It's just the fixation and something in your mouth, and that's just, it's okay. So just find something that you like to eat that's on the vegetable green side and just eat that. But if you're doing fine with that, that's good. Someone asked, what do I think about the snake diet? I don't know what that is, so I have no thoughts on that. I have no thoughts on it. You got to help me figure out what that is, Lynette. I don't know what that is. I did explain it. Someone asked, can I explain the one meal a day and the warrior diet? I've already explained it at the beginning, but in a nutshell, 1 meal a day is different from the warrior diet based on timing. The 1 meal a day diet is 22 2, so 22 hours fasted, 2-hour feeding window. Warrior diet is a 20 fasting hour and a 4-hour eating window. So both of them can be the same because you're probably going to be eating one meal within a 4-hour period, because some people only eat 2.5 to 3 hours, probably longer before their next meal. So it's only a 2-hour difference. That's the only difference it is. It's based on timing. So that's the only difference that it is. And I mentioned this in the title because a couple of you guys who comment on my videos, I do read them, and it does help me know what to research next. Kind of make sure all of my ducks are in a row and what I'm looking for, and to help you guys. So I'm always welcome to comments and things when people see something and like, oh, you might want to change that one, like get people to understand that there is a difference. So yes, you should take supplements. I'm not taking any supplements right now. I've been on a break from them for a little bit, but most important supplementation you should be taking right now is a multivitamin biotin, and that's just for health purposes. I am not going to talk about fat burners and all of this other stuff when it comes to weight loss. I know that's people's concern because their concern is losing weight, and that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that thought pattern. However, if you won't get healthy first and just think about being healthy, the weight loss won't come, because you're adding stress to yourself thinking about looking a certain way and losing weight, instead of just enjoying the fact that you are disciplining yourself into a different lifestyle. You can't be the same person doing the same things trying to lose weight. There's a total different person. You have to start pushing yourself to think and operate like a totally different person, and that requires learning. So supplementations on intermittent fasting or carb cycling or keto or whatever, that is based on health, multivitamins, and a biotin, definitely. I am not a person who recommends particular brands on supplementation. Find what works for you. I can tell you something and it might not work for you. So that's why I don't recommend in that sense. I prefer to recommend supplementations when I deal with my clients, when I'm coaching you one-on-one, because I know your lifestyle, I know what's going on, and I know what works for you and which brand would be best based off the ingredients that are involved in the supplements. So that type of question I can't really answer because you're not my client. So I don't know what supplements would really work. Have I heard of dry fasting? Yes, I have. Do I agree with it? Yes, I do. I agree with anything that works. I'm just going to be honest. If it works, it works. I don't do dry fasting. I like water. I like water. Um, I think that's what I've heard about it. The dry fasting is no food and you're barely drinking water. That's kind of a small snippet of what I've done for my first competition. It's kind of like doing dry fasting. So you're manipulating your water intake in order to look drier or leaner on stage. So that's my personal experience with it. Do I agree with it for weight loss? Yeah, because I've seen people have results from it and it works for them. Does it work for everybody? For you. And be patient with the process before you just say it doesn't work for you. You find and fat is satiating. So it makes you feel fuller longer. And I don't mean full like your stomach full. It just makes you feel just like your appetite, you're fine. You're satiated. Your body feels like it's working off the fuel that you've given it and it doesn't need anymore. What would your meal lifestyle look like once you have reached your goals? The same as when you got started. Or the same as whatever worked for you and you love it, stick to it. So if you started off ketogenic style and that's been working for you and you don't feel like you need to do anything different, then that's obviously what you want to continue to do after you've reached your goal. It's a lifestyle change. So your diet might either look like the last thing that you've tried and that's worked like crazy, or something you've tried a long time ago, it worked, and you started switching up just to see what else might work, and you just went right back to that one because you know that one worked for you, so you stuck with it. And that's what I did. What I actually did, what I started off with, I was eating food. I wasn't necessarily clean eating in the beginning of my weight loss journey. I'm just going to be honest. I wasn't eating clean. Now I'm eating clean because I know that's what works for me. I know that works for everybody, but then all of these different diet styles, with me playing around with keto, intermittent fasting, carb cycling, it still was just me eating clean. These are just diet styles, but I just eat clean. So my book on intermittent fasting, can I explain a little bit more about it? Actually, the past video that I just did before this live one explains it more. And then because I'm actually going to go ahead and take care of my class in another 5 minutes. Once this video is on YouTube, you can go back and watch it and hear the information that I mentioned about the 1 meal a day and the warrior diet style. So if you're just tuning in, I can't say, I'm sorry you missed the beginning part of it, but now we're into the question stages, and I just want to help people with what questions that I can with it. But with the intermittent fasting ebook, that is a diet program. The program is teaching you the intermittent fasting styles, and it gives you 3 meal options, and it gives you one option to teach you how to create one that works for you. So that's how that works. It's a meal program, and it's on clean eating, and it's eating the right foods that are not necessarily just low carb. So if that's kind of what you're trying to figure out about that, that's what it is. It says, someone's saying, I'm losing more weight without working out than with working out by my body's needs to be toned. And I kind of lost. It's just to get my butt back. Squats, glute bridges, do some training, hire a trainer, do some research. You're on YouTube. If you're watching me, I'm probably not the only one that is teaching diet and training. So do your research. If you're not working out, you're not going to change your body. Eating your diet helps you lose the weight, excess body fat. Training helps you tone up and change the way your physique looks, or make your physique look better. I don't want to say change it up, but make it look better. Make it look more toned the way you want to see it. So there's tons of exercises you can do to build your booty. You just got to build the muscle. That's it. Build the muscle, do your research, and then follow that plan. So, well, all right, guys. I'm going to make this I'm going to end it here. Make sure you check out my website. I have programs there. I have programs for the beginner, the intermediate, and advanced. That includes workout programs as well as the diet styles that you can choose from. I have a ketogenic diet plan, and I have an intermittent fasting and clean eating plan. Those are the 2 most popular ones right now. So I've done a lot of work as far as trying to make those plans easy for anybody to follow. Try them out. If you're interested in coaching one-on-one with me, definitely check that out. Set up a consultation, and we can go from there. I'll be talking to you about everything concerning your lifestyle, your diet, how you work out, just everything, just to kind of get you going and getting you started, and then keeping you accountable to that so you don't break promises to yourself. So I do offer that. You can just go to my website for that. I'll make sure links and stuff like that is down below. Once this video is uploaded, you can go back, check it out, what I mean about the warrior diet and the 1 meal a day diet. And I will see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys next time.